Yes. You know, the power of history. History is alluring. You heard Ojukwu there. There was no time he talked about confederation. He made the point there that he agreed that each region should have its own police. We're not talking about that now. Is that not what we are still debating? So you can understand why Max Hewlin defined Aburi Accord as a fundamental opportunity for peace. That's Ojukwu giving his own side of the story. Yakubu Gowon was the leader of Nigeria. So the negotiation was between Ojukwu and Gowon in Aburi. So let's hear from Yakubu Gowon.
When we came back and Ojukwu did not go to make the statement he made first, virtually giving the impression that we've agreed for a confederation to move apart, etc., which was really not in exactly that. If I had had the opportunity to make my broadcast in the first, because that was the agreement, not for him to make the broadcast first, then if I had committed myself to what he said, then there wouldn't have been any problem. But he went and said certain things that certainly looked wrong, and therefore we saw in practically everything he did, I think it was for to play up to the gallery, not being sincere.
The purpose of this press conference is to enlighten the public on the last Accra meeting of military leaders and to tell the nation where we go from here. Our main concern at the Aburi meeting was how to keep the country together and restore normal conditions. We reviewed the situation in the Nigerian army, and we all agreed that there should be one Nigerian army under a unified command as at present. We recognize that in the context of the events of 1966, the most practical way of achieving this aim is to organize the army into area commands. We did not go to Aburi to write a new constitution for Nigeria. The constitution of Nigeria will be written in Nigeria by Nigerians on the authority of the people of Nigeria. We, however, agreed to return to the status quo ante January 17, 1966. And this is in keeping with my earlier public pronouncements that decrees or parts of decrees which tended towards over-centralization should be repealed. We will continue to operate the existing federal constitution and the federal system of government until a new constitution is drawn up. In Aburi, we made an excellent start in the bid for permanent peace, but let us not deceive ourselves that it was possible to solve all Nigeria's problems in the two-day meeting of minds of Nigeria's military leaders. I did say immediately after that conference that Nigeria will definitely remain united. I would never have said so if we went there to fall apart. Nigeria will remain one indivisible country by the will of the people of this country.
Yes, Yakubu Gowon in a news press conference. In a press conference. That was Yakubu Gowon in 1967. He was Nigeria's head of state. I'll be happy to read your comments on the subject. So join the discourse. It's a class for all. there is something to learn from you. So leave your comments as you listen. It is a class of history, politics, and power. And I hope you are enjoying yourself. Let me take some messages here. Ohaji Tiger, thank you. Thank you for the greetings. Akunye Umwoba, thank you for calling on the viewers to share. Okoro Donchuks Izundu. Okay, it says from Gowon's voice you can see lies, double standards. Adeboye Abiodun says good afternoon, Radio Man. Good afternoon to you. I'm happy that you joined the broadcast. And Azodochi Joke, thank you. He's watching from Moscow. Hi, it's Moscow, Chijoke. Hi, it's Vladimir Putin. Yes, thank you for contributing. Ohaji Tiger disagrees with the role that was played by Ken Saro-Wiwa. And he said he paid for it during Abacha's time. You know, those in Ken Saro-Wiwa's area did not support the Igbos because they were scared of dominance. You know, so those axes fought against Igbos. So that's the point here. Olamide Nyola, thank you for joining the broadcast. The question is, how did we get to Aburi? You know, Aburi is detailed, and on this program, you will get the detail. You will get a clear understanding of where we are coming from. That is why I will encourage you to watch the videos we have been posting. More videos are coming. And I have seen some comments. Edmond, why is it that it's only Yoruba scholars, veterans that you are interviewing? I understand that question. But the point is that this studio is located in Ibadan. So it's located in the southwest. So I'm surrounded by southwest scholars. Most of the Igbo veterans don't live around here. They are in the southeast. They are growing old, so they are home. And many Igbo scholars are in Lagos. Yes, there are some of them here. But remember, I am attaching the interviews to books, those who have written books. Yes, I've spoken to Igbo scholars. I've spoken to Chuks Ulegbunam. Chuks Ulegbunam lives somewhere in Oka. He's the author of the book, Ironse. And we are planning to meet soon. It simply means I will have to move the studio to where they are. And that is expensive. I will have to move my crew. We'll get to that point. Yes, because I want to speak with everybody. You know, it's easier for me to be in the studio. My crew, we're here. But by the time we need to begin to move, begin to fly, the cost of production becomes expensive. We are working around it. And one way to support this program, it is also to buy the books we'll bring to you. There are books is tied to state affairs. So one of the ways to support the program is to buy books. There are a lot of stories to be told. I want to go to different places to tell the stories, shoot documentaries, bring history live. So for now, I am focusing on my environment. Those around me, it's easier to get the Yoruba scholars. But soon, you begin to see Igbo scholars joining the debate, right? So how did we get to Aburi? What happened? What took us to Aburi? I want us to look at Nigeria's federalism. But before we look at Nigeria's federalism, I want us to listen to Ojukwu again. Let's listen to Ojukwu again. He raised some fundamental points about Aburi. We played it just now, so we are going to play it again. We're playing it again, and you make your interpretations.
At Aburi, yes, we agreed on area commands for the armed forces. At Aburi, we agreed that the police force would be decentralized. We agreed on those. Yes. We agreed. Even to show that we didn't separate, at Aburi we also agreed on certain revenue formula. That's what happened at Aburi. Aburi again, because I always end up, it sounds odd today, but I always end up by saying I must have been naive, because I believed actually that would be the end. I'll confess to you, when I got back to Enugu, oh yes, I had a party, believing that probably the danger was over. That's what we thought. Until they then began to deny everything. It was the denial of Nigeria that made me publish the tapes of Aburi, because we had insisted that each one should have a set of tapes. Everybody talks about confederation. Go and look at the transcript. There is no time that the word confederation came from my lips.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Okay. Let's begin to trace the problems that led to the conflicts, the repeated conflict that eventually dragged the conflicting parties to Aburi in Ghana in 1967. That means I want to go back to pre-independent Nigeria. So let's go. The first point I want to make here is that Nigeria's federalism was consolidated in the Littleton Constitution of 1954. The Constitution recognized Western, Northern, and Eastern regions as the federating units. The powers of the central and regional government were defined in the exclusive, concurrent, and residual list. Following the Lancaster House London Constitutional Conference of 1957 and 1958, and the Wilkes Commission of Inquiry, the Littleton Constitution was amended to become the Independence Constitution of 1960. After the 1957 conference, the Western and Eastern regions attained self-government on the 8th of August 1957. And when I say self-government, the British decided to experiment with Obafemi Awolowo and Azikiwe. They were the leaders of their region, so they attained self-government before Nigeria. So it's like the Western region gained a sort of independence under Awolowo, and the Eastern region under Nnamdi Azikiwe, but not the North. The North wasn't ready. In the 1958 conference, it was agreed that Nigeria become an independent state on the 1st of October 1960, and that plebiscite hold at the behest of the United Nations in northern and southern Cameroons. You know, at some point, Bola Tinubu threw a jibe to the PDP candidate. Even somebody that they said came from Cameroon, we've not raised that issue. He was talking about Atiku Abubakar. You know, part of Adamawa was northern Cameroon at that time. After Germany lost the Second World War, Cameroon was Germany's colony. So when Germany lost the war, the United Nations took over Germany's colonies and handed some of them to Britain and France. So a part of Cameroon was handed to France and another part was handed to Britain. That is why if you go to Cameroon today, you have a part speaking French, another part speaking English. The part speaking English wants their own country. So at the moment, they are fighting for independence. That's Ambazonia. And they were called mandate territories at that time because Britain and France had the mandate of the United Nations to govern Cameroon. So when Nigeria got her independence, they wanted to know that those parts of Cameroon that were governed by Britain, they wanted to know if they would like to be part of independent Nigeria. So the part Atiku comes from in Adamawa State, then Gongola State at some point, they voted to be part of Nigeria. So they became Nigeria. Why Southern Cameroon, where you have Bakassi at the moment, voted to join the other Cameroon that was governed by France? At the point, NCNC was the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons. At that point, NCNC the name was changed. So that was why the plebiscite was called. Some would call it referendum. So the plebiscite held on February 11th and 12th, 1961, with Southern Cameroon opting to join the Republic of Cameroon and Northern Cameroon voting to be part of Nigeria. These talks laid the framework for the fiscal federalism that heralded the policies and objectives of the regions in the First Republic. The regions had financial autonomy and they regulated their security. There was a federal police acting as a balance. You get the point? The regions were somewhat independent. That was what Ojukwu wanted in Aburi. But how did the regions lose that sort of independence? When we come to Agui-Ironsi, we will discuss that. The regions had financial autonomy and regulated their security, with the federal police acting as a balance. The development of infrastructure witnessed under this arrangement is unrivaled in the annals of Nigeria's checkered history. It was the best of times. The competition was healthy. As the Western region built Obafemi Awolowo University, then University of Ife, the Eastern region said, no way. Eastern region came up with University of Nigeria, Nsukka. The Northern region said, we will not be left out. And Ahmadu Bello University was born. As Obafemi Awolowo came with Western Nigerian television, the Eastern region said, no way. They came out with their own. You could see that competition. Awolowo was using cocoa. There was palm oil in the Eastern region.